computer simulations, which means that they have made a computer model of the building, and then they're feeding the computer with what we call input parameters, and then they ask the computer what happens next. I would call it animations, because you can actually get almost any result you want. And I'm going to show you the result in a little while. I'm ambivalent toward showing it, because we all have a tendency to believe what we're seeing. People who have seen Star Wars believe that you have flying saucers and that you have laser beams and that you can fly to the outer universe within seconds, but you cannot. You cannot fly against gravity. But we leave this to George Lucas. But this is actually what NIST is doing, and they won't reveal the software they're using, neither the software nor the input parameters which the computer used for the calculations. So imagine if you walk up to NIST and say, and ask them a question, their answer is, to your question is, that your answer is in my computer, and I'm not going to tell you how it got out. Now, some of these calculations were extremely demanding in terms of computer power. They have had the world's biggest computer standing for 6 to 8 months to produce what I'm going to show you in a little while. The first one is just a little short sequence. It's just visualizing the pancake effect. It's a very short one. Here you say this is the 13th floor going down, and this is 79 bending, and that's all. That's it. That's what you can get. Question.
Where do you get the shots from?
Where I get these from? They're from the web. I have a friend who is very keen at getting these. But you can welcome to get them afterwards. And by the way, if any of you want to, the presentation I'm doing here, if you have bring a memory stick, you can have it all if you wish. Now, here is the steel frame. Again, I showed you this picture before. This is from the south. We have to take care of that. And what NIST wants us to believe that the 79th column is starting up here and it's going all the way through. This is the penthouse here. And they want us to believe that this frame should collapse the way we are seeing. And here is the present collapse as NIST is presenting it to the world. If it works, it does, apparently. Yeah, we started. This is from the north. So here is where the damage starts, and the house goes down. And they don't even have it come out exactly the way they wanted it. But yeah, this is it. Now, there are many things wrong with the NIST report on Building-7. Many things. I'm just mentioning a few, which is easy to grasp and understand for non-specialists. One thing is, the question is, was there at all a fire in the northeast corner on the 12th floor at 5 o'clock in the afternoon? Because NIST released a report, an interim report, in 2004, where they actually had done all the work regarding the mapping of the fires. And according to NIST's own report in 2004, you'll see here around 4:45, the photograph showed fires, etc. Floor number 12 was burned out by this time. So according to NIST, there was no fire on the 12th floor late in the afternoon. I think there was another thing we should recognize here. Yeah, also the fire on floor 12 appeared to bypass the northeast corner. This is from their interim report. It is not in the final report, but apparently they changed their theory. Okay, but just for comparison, this is the picture I showed you earlier. This is the 12th floor And this is the northeast corner we're talking about. But the point is, as I told you, an office fire does not last for more than 20 minutes. Then it burns out. There's nothing more to burn. So they're claiming that they should burn like this in the only answer. Question, please.
Yes, is there any information in the NIST report that there is an automatic fire suppression system? System?
Well, there is, of course, the Building-7 was completely covered by a sprinkler system. And actually, there are two explanations. It didn't work on the day. And there's actually two explanations for that. One is in the FEMA report. This is another report I have not time to tell you about. But there was a preliminary report by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, which was finished already in 2002. Now, but it's a very useful report if you're interested, because they have very, very accurate description of the building and also the sprinkler system. And according to the FEMA report, the system was turned off in the morning on September 11th because they were having a drill. They were tested on the day. It was actually turned off, according to this, according to FEMA. And the FEMA report also ends with no conclusion. They say they have no explanation for why Building-7 is going down. Now, according to the NIST report from 2008, they say the sprinkler system here in Building-7 was divided in two. Above the 22nd floor, the sprinkler system was served by two water tanks on the top, each containing 28,000 gallons of water. But the lower 22 floors were served by the city water. And this is what is relevant, because everything here is from the 7th to the 12th floor. So this is the part of the sprinkler system being supported by the city water. And NIST claims that the pressure had dropped due to breakage of the water supply. And this is why the sprinkler system didn't work. They did not mention, this is in the FEMA report, that the building was equipped with so-called boosters. This is connections for the fire department on the side of the building, where they could have come out with a what you call a tank, a car, and simply drown the building in water. They could have filled the building water through these boosters on the side. They didn't. So much for automatic water disposal. It was not in service of the day. Now, what more is wrong? They're fiddling around with the temperatures. They're reporting that what they have investigated are the core column steels afterwards. They have seen no steel with temperatures beyond 300 degrees. This you can see from the primer paint on the steel beams, how hot it has been, and other means also. Still, they claim that in the northeast corner, maybe temperatures of 600 degrees was reachable under the ceiling and the floor beams. Now, the reason why they are fiddling around with the temperatures will become evident in a little while. But let me just mention in between that I also took my calculator and calculated how much actually would this steel beam expand. And this is only 2.5 centimeters in each end upon a temperature rise to 300 degrees. This is not so important. What is more important is actually that NIST did experiments when they worked on the towers. And one thing they did was that to take a model of a floor assembly, 10 meters tall, and put it into an oven and heating it up and expecting it to fall. Point is, it didn't. They heated it to 800 degrees and it still remained there. Then they had to stop the experiment because the thermocouple failed. What happens to a floor assembly when you heat it up? It sags. It looks like this. This is an illustration from the report on the towers. And this is NIST doing experiments. So what happens to a floor? It starts sagging when you hear it, then this is wonderful, because this is what we want as scientists. We want to do experiments, we want to make observations, we want to make conclusions based on experience. And this is NIST owns. Actually, this result had the consequence for NIST that they are not covering the collapse itself from the towers. Their timeline stops before the collapses, before the tower starts to collapse. But they guess on why it goes into collapse, and their mechanism is based on the floor